There's been some controversy. There always is.
Play that drop.
So I don't know if you guys know, but you guys might, because I feel like our audience would overlap with like the Ongeza Volume audience, etc. But if you guys know Kalai, she's a journalist. She usually covers events and stuff like that, and she's been creating like some really compelling content online. And I say compelling because it gets the people going. It gets the people
were
like
definitely
talking,
going in the comments
and
section.
it's divisive. So recently, she released a video where she said, actually, you know what? Let me play it, and then we're gonna talk about. Well, she did two videos. One was the obvious one. What's the Kenyan sound?
Yeah.
And the other one is actually the one I want to talk about, which is about albums and consumption. So let me just
Kenyan
play
artists,
it
stop
right
making
now.
albums. Seriously, most people aren't going to listen to them anyway. Now, before y'all come for me, hear me out. Imagine spending 2 years making an album, 2 years writing, recording, re-recording, paying for studio sessions, perfecting every little detail, only for people to listen to one song, or maybe two, then move on. That's not because your album is bad. It's because that's how we consume music
is
today.
sad.
Streaming has changed us. TikTok gives us a 15-second snippet. Spotify recommends one song. Instagram pushes another. Before we know it, we've experienced an entire album without actually listening to the album itself. And that's why I think more artists are releasing EPs. Not because albums are dead, but because they're adapting to how people actually listen to music today.
Okay.
Albums are still
You disagree, you
beautiful.
disagree.
They are how artists tell stories. They are how they take us on a journey. But babe, come on, journeys only work if people actually stay for the ride. So here's my question to you. When was the last time you listened to a Kenyan album from track 1 all the way to the last song? And be honest.
Last week. No, the week before that.
Which album?
It's more common.
Wait, which album?
I don't remember the name. I guess I'm proving a point.
Okay, but this has okay. Actually, let me read a bunch of comments.
No, I did. No, it was actually
you-
today. It was today.
Huh?
A release for today.
This is I want to say it's the Halisi.
No, New Funk.
Oh, okay. Why did you just wait for me to set myself
Sorry,
up?
man. Sorry, but anyway, let's get into it. A couple of interesting things she said there, hasn't she? She's
let me see. So a lot of the sentiment on the comments was like very
hey yo,
negative.
what are you talking about?
Yeah,
Like,
a lot
harsh.
of people said listen, I do without skipping. I care about the story the artist wants to tell. That was Sero.
Shout out, Sarah.
I actually do listen to albums from track 1 to 10. Guess we are just a few left. Cardine says, I don't think the word is stop. I think they can do a mix of both. I listen to albums more, actually. Hafari says, this is a terrible take. I cannot even go into detail
always
here.
Count on Hafari to just say it like
But
that.
you have basically devalued an entire body of work because you don't have the patience to sit with the project.
No chill whatsoever.
And
I like
a lot of comments were,
there's a lot
along
of
the same lines.
There's a lot of anti.
What do you think?
Sort of anti. I think her thesis is great. I think I don't want us to get to a place where we are I'm on the other let me start saying this. I'm on that side. I'm on the side of the people saying like, yeah, I do know that albums are not as listenable to. They don't have as much listen value, if that's a thing, because of the trend of music. So music is trending towards shorter songs. It's trending towards more viral style content. Shorter projects is trending towards all of that. Basically, easily digestible music, easily digestible art. And the only reason I believe it's trending towards that case, and I don't know whether you agree, is because of technology. I think technology has created an avenue where things are, she talks about TikTok on there, just giving a 15-minute snippet. 15-second snippet. It's because of It's because because of TikTok that people are doing that. Spotify and them, in order for you to be on the algorithms, your stuff has to get played constantly, and people are not going to play 15-minute long songs with intros and outros and one break and bridge. No, they want to get the meat of the song in like 1 minute, 30 seconds, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 30 seconds at most these days. And so it's all technology that's bringing all of this to us. And so now the question is, are we okay? Is it okay for us to be shaping art to technology rather than the other way out?
Okay, and then also in addition to that, I feel like that what you've said is true and applies across the board, like internationally. But also, as much as things have progressed technologically and people are consuming shorter and shorter content, in Kenya, album consumption has just never really been the way we consume music. So I feel like there's two things that artists are fighting against.
Is that true?
It is true.
People do release albums, man.
There
People
is
love releasing albums in Kenya.
That's not what I
said. It's all
said.
about albums.
That's not what I said.
Oh, what did you say?
People release albums and people consume albums, or Kenyans consume albums.
Okay, it's just not how
but that's not
people
that's not
primarily.
that's not how people primarily are used to consuming albums in Kenya.
Yeah.
Albums have been there, but there's no way you can tell me an artist like Major can release his debut album in 2026 and tell me that's not a symptom of what we exist in.
Yeah, but that's just one artist.
That's one of our biggest artists that commands a really huge market space of who or consumption space of what people listen to and what people have been drawn to, like in the past, or just like historically in the Kenyan music scene, right? And it's just like a fact. Kenyans, and this is the thing though. Okay, the first comment is from Sero, and Sero is somebody who makes music.
Just released an album, actually.
Right?
Yep.
But I feel like the overall sentiment or the overall like we don't, like, you're wrong and like we do listen to albums. I feel like that's such a consumer facing sentiment. As a creator of projects, as somebody who makes music, you know the pressure of releasing an album and nobody listening to that stuff. Like, and people people in the comment section are mostly consumers and won't look at it from the other perspective. Like what Kalai said is so true, because you spend so much time and effort creating projects that people do not gravitate to. Now, where I disagree with Kalai is that's not a reason for you to stop creating albums. That's just that's kind of like an overreaction.
Okay.
We're not gonna stop making.
Overcorrecting.
You're just overcorrecting at that point. We can't stop creating albums because the consumers aren't listening to them. What we need to do is figure out how to make it interesting for a consumer to look at an album and say, "Alright, I'm gonna consume this like from top to bottom."
Yeah, but if you think about that, our options for that are limited, aren't they? I mean, what else? Just brainstorming. What else could you possibly do to make an album more palatable?
You just have to make it easily accessible.
Because everywhere that but everywhere that people are consuming albums, everywhere that people are consuming music, it's being colored in a the algorithms and technology is making it seem like we don't need to listen to really long things, really long songs.
And that's
really
true.
long.
That's true.
Yeah, but then when you do that now, see, as an album is considered like a body of work, and technically it's like one long song with like different parts, right? And just in terms of like an idea put together by different songs. That's always going to be on the losing side, for the most part, on the losing side of the technological advancements that we have today. It's always going to be. Even reviews are much quicker these days.
Yeah,
everything is really fast, and so,
which is why I'm saying like Kenyan artists are fighting two battles. You're trying to convince an audience that hasn't historically come up via listening to albums to listen to albums. And then now that you're actually doing it is when the technological thing is happening where people are listening to more short form content.
Yeah.
So it's like you're fighting two battles. And then I will say this. I've just thought about this right now. I feel like consumer habits for like music and stuff like that is also a representation. It's also there is a correlation with class as well as accessibility. I feel like a lot of people might not have had the resources to listen to albums like fully, like because you'd have to either own like a vinyl or a CD player
Cassette.
type thing. You know what I mean? And not just rely on radio and stuff like that. And then also things like Spotify were only really made accessible to us
Couple years ago.
like a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And people like me, I feel like I was privileged because I had a laptop and I was able to like piecemeal things together for myself, like download like stuff like that. I feel like not everybody had access to listening to albums like just coming up.
Yeah.
Like I feel like back in the day, you listened to music how it found you, which was like you're listening to stuff that on TV, like via KBC or The Beat, or listening to stuff on radio. Like it's stuff that's pre-curated for you.
Yeah.
And I feel like the reason why we consume the way we do is that's the reason why. It's because that's how we've come up, or a lot of Kenyans have come up listening to music.
Hey, Wesh take. That's a W take, I think.
Yeah, and so I think sometimes we lose track of like, okay, but what is everybody in Kenya like experiencing? Sometimes we feel like the Nairobi experience is representative of everyone's experience, right? Because I can't just come here and say no, but yeah, me, I was exposed to listening to albums and I listened to Nevermind by Nirvana and stuff like that, and it's cool, and I love listening to albums, but I don't know if that's representative for everyone.
Yeah. And what you're right, because what we can't do is now come again and whitewash it like what she's done. What she's done is whitewashing. By whitewashing I mean like it's painting with a broad brush is what they say. Where like, so everyone, because a certain group of people are not or because things are trending away from the album, so everyone should stop making albums. No, you can't tell that to creators. Again, that's from a consumer
I agree
standpoint.
with you.
You can't tell that to creators, right? So creators are always going to create. Now, albums are an important part of the music creating experience.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're a single artist, like let's talk about Major, for example, or maybe even Nyashinsky, right? They've released singles for a long time, and it's just Nyashinsky's first album was during the pandemic. After how many years in the industry?
How many albums does he have? Just that one?
He has two now.
Two now.
So yeah, Lucky You and Yari. So and then a bunch
How
of
many
EPs
albums
in the
does Bien have?
Bien solo?
Solo. It's just going to be Alusa.
It's just Alusa, right? That's the first one.
And then the stuff and then Midnight Chain but that's with.
But that's and then
Sauti
everything
Sol.
else is with Sauti. So
Okay, if those are our premier acts, like well into like
it definitely
their
reflects,
prime
it
as
reflects,
artists,
yeah, I think
and they're not like prioritizing
albums, yeah.
releasing albums. But it's a reflection of,
but then it's just
of the
them
industry
too.
we
Like,
live in.
I don't want to make the mistake of yes. So it could be true where our biggest artists, some of our biggest artists are holding off the album in favor of doing other things, releasing singles and more short form pieces of work. But then I do but it's almost like when I look at the rest of the industry, it's almost like the rest of the industry is just as a new artist, people just want to drop albums. Oh, what are you doing? I'm working on an album. Like almost every artist you talk to would say that I'm working on an album. So I think it's not just one. We don't just take what one group of people is doing and make it the law for everybody.